Chắc chắn là Việt Nam là quê hương thứ hai của Phúc. Tại vì mỗi lần đi vòng vào nước Mỹ và ăn đồ ăn Việt Nam và thấy người Việt, mình cảm thấy khá là hạnh phúc, giống như là ở home, at my house, in my hometown. Các bạn ơi, Phúc Mập đây. Chào buổi sáng mọi người. Currently in Kentucky visiting my wife's family, but guess what? Today we have a very special trip. We're going down to Texas. I've never been to Texas, but I hear there's a lot of good Vietnamese food, so I'm happy to bring you along on the ride. Everything's packed up in the car. Let's get it going. Back on the road again. I don't want to say I don't enjoy road trips in Vietnam, but in situations like this where it's raining, it is more enjoyable driving in a car in America. So in Vietnam, I've taken plenty of road trips to the Vietnam. I've gone to Tây Ninh, Binh Tre, Cần Thơ, Sa Đéc, all those places. But there have been times where I've been caught in traffic or caught in the rain where I wish I just had a car and some air conditioning. And this is a good kỷ niệm for me and my wife, because in 2016 we took our first trip together. We went to Đà Lạt, and up in Đà Lạt we went to Elephant Falls, and on the way back we got caught in the rain, and I was wearing just like a sleeveless shirt. We didn't have a jacket or anything, and it was freezing up there in the mountains with that rain. So now we look at it 7 years later, here we are driving in the rain, comfortable, enjoying ourselves, and much different experience overall. We're in Kentucky right now, heading down. We're going to go through Tennessee, and then we'll see where the map takes us. But definitely going to a lot of states that I've never been to before, so this should be exciting. I think one of the longest motorbike trips I took was back in 2018. My little brother came to Vietnam. I thought it'd be a great experience for all of us to drive from Hội An to Da Nang, do the Hải Vân, go to Huế, and from there go to Khe Sanh and over to Phong Nha. So nearly 500 kilometers in a couple of days time. And my little brother was like, what made you think that that would be enjoyable? Because our backs, our necks, our butts, everything hurt. We got caught in the rain a few times. I still look back, I enjoyed it. When it comes to the Vietnamese communities in America, California is the biggest, of course, but coming in second place, I believe, is Texas. And I've had a lot of invites to come out to Texas, met a lot of fans in Vietnam that were visiting from Texas, and between the two, I figured I would rather go over to Texas. Why? Well, California, I definitely have to fly. It's not driving distance from my family or my wife's family, and there's a big difference when you drive somewhere. You have the convenience of your car and getting around and doing what you want. Whereas if you fly somewhere, you need to rent a car, and then you have to worry about the insurance on it and keeping that thing safe and clean and everything else. And to be honest with you, I'd much rather go to Texas than California. I almost had a sponsored trip to California around November last year, but instead I did a TV show over in Vietnam, and it worked out better than the sponsorship. But if any sponsors are trying to fly me out to California with the offer still on the table, I would love to do it one day. Still raining. We're still in Kentucky. Time to get breakfast before breakfast ends. We're going to Hardee's. Let's try not to get wet. Definitely getting wet, but it's okay. Talk about inflation. Look at this. The original Hardee's picture. Used to be 15 cents for a hamburger, 20 cents for milkshakes. That's inflation for real. But to be honest, for me, the burgers here, much better than any other fast food. I've never had the breakfast, but I do love biscuits, so I'm in for that. In my last road trip video, somebody made a comment about me promoting bad health. Look, if you've ever been on a road trip, this is what you do. You stop at fast food. Unless you're old, then you can pack your own food before you go. But you stop at fast food. I rarely eat this, but I'm very happy to enjoy it here on the road trip. So disclaimer, if you don't know how to control your own diet and your own health, don't listen to me. Don't eat the fast food that I eat. But for me, I'm gonna enjoy it because I'm on a road trip. Review Hardee's breakfast. First time. Unfortunately, they were out of hot sauce. I prefer eggs with hot sauce, but it's all good. Here we have the loaded omelet biscuit. When talking about a good biscuit, I say the same thing about a good banh mi in Vietnam. The outside should be crispy. The inside should be soft. They nailed it. We waited like 7 minutes, so they pretty much made these fresh. Next on the list, the pork chop and gravy biscuit. It's one thing I missed in Vietnam, having good gravy. Breakfast places in the South in America, they do biscuits and gravy, and it's just like the perfect sauce to go on your biscuits. And when you mix it with this fried pork here, it's a winner. You have to remember, I've been out of America a long time. I mean, I came back to Vietnam right before COVID. I was visiting my family at the beginning of 2020. And after I got back, they locked everything down. Now, I could leave, but my wife, she couldn't. So I didn't want to leave my wife. I stayed in Vietnam for basically 3 years straight without seeing my family in America, without seeing her family in America. And once that COVID restriction was lifted, well, then I made it a point to get out and travel more like I used to. I used to go to new places every weekend. Every month would be a new vacation. But because of that time locked in the house, it really made me consider how great it is to go to a new place. And especially like my wife's first time in America, you know, I got to take her to Florida and Kentucky and Chicago. And then now the next year, well, I get to take her to Texas as well. So I look at it as a blessing to be able to get out and travel, not wear a mask. Man, do you know how hard it is to wear a mask with this beard? Just all in my face all day. I know it's not comfortable for anybody, but I'm so happy those restrictions are lifted and we can get around and travel. And being that there's so much good food in Texas, I'm not going to be at a loss for material because there's going to be a lot of content to film. The rain is cleared up and now we are here in Tennessee. If you've ever seen Jack Daniel's whiskey, well, that's what Tennessee is famous for. And unfortunately, we don't have time to stop. We've been to Nashville already, but we're going to keep going through. And it looks like we're going over a very interesting bridge right here. What river is this? Now that we're in Missouri, you can see we have 7 hours and 39 minutes left. 547 miles to go. Here we got the cruise control on. Because, let's be honest, the feet get tired after a while. And now we have just crossed into Arkansas, yet another new state for me. Missouri was a lot of farms, but then again, so was Kentucky and Tennessee. I'm expecting pretty much the same for Arkansas. As you go further out west, you'll see that, you know, it's very sparsely populated. It's not as dense as the east. It's such a shock coming from Saigon, where we're in a city with basically 10 million people. And then when I go and visit my wife's family in Kentucky, the whole state has like 5.5 million people. So huge difference there in terms of the density of the population. But yeah, looking at Arkansas, it's looking a lot like Missouri so far. This is the first time ever in America that I've seen a speed limit of 75. I had a feeling they existed, but I'd never seen them, so this is pretty cool. All right, we got down to only 7 miles left in the tank. I think it's a good time to fill up. $48 to fill up a 4-cylinder Honda CR-V. Good thing I don't have a truck anymore. My sister-in-law was talking about buying a V8 Lexus. I said, you're crazy. That 48 turns into 96 real quick with one of those. Welcome to Texas. We went through Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, and now Texas. First time in Dallas. I like the skyline. This GoPro doesn't do it justice, but we're gonna go find the hotel. We're over on the Arlington side. not too bad. This is La Quinta Inn and Suites here in Dallas. I'm always very careful when picking the hotel, read all the reviews, because it's not me. I can sleep anywhere. Gotta make the wife happy. If the wife's happy where she sleeps, then the trip's gonna be good. Looks like I chose a good place. We'll find out in the next couple days. I come from Florida. We wear bathing suits everywhere. So of course we kind of skipped lunch, try to drive straight through, had some snacks, but we are going to try to find some good food to start the night and to finish this off right. Dạ cho anh phở tài chính. Có size nào? Size nhỏ, size lớn, có size đặc biệt không?
Dạ không, chỉ có lớn với nhỏ.
Just lớn thôi á?
Yeah.
Okay, size lớn nha. So I said it before where like in Saigon you always have something different. Each restaurant has its own flavor. But even more so in America, because you got to think a lot of people came over here, you know, 1975, 1985, they brought their recipes and what they knew, what they had to theo khẩu vị của người dân Mỹ. So có nghĩa là they have to kind of focus on the community and what they want to eat. Therefore, the taste will change. Like I said, there's only been like one, maybe two places that have matched the taste of pho in Vietnam. Bún bò Huế a couple times. I've had some really good ones, but only been a couple places that match the taste of pho in Vietnam. But it's not to say that the other ones are not good. It's interesting to see that different spin on it and how they change the taste according to the taste of the locals here. All right, everyone. So first meal in Dallas, Texas. Let's see how it compares. I can't say that I've had a flavor similar to that. As I mentioned, the flavors are always different, and that one is very different from anything I've had here in America. While different, still fresh, still come bad. It's good. I like it. And after a long day, we started with the Hardee's breakfast sandwich. We skipped lunch, had some snacks, but we were trying to save up for this. I believe it was Anthony Bourdain who used to say that he wouldn't eat the food on the plane. He would save his appetite until he got to the place, and then he could eat the local food, not waste it on the plane. So, same thing, I was gonna get some food on the road, but instead, we just went, saved it for this, and I'm glad we did. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me on this road trip. Glad we got to conclude with some amazing pho, and I'm excited to get my adventure started here in Texas. First time for my wife, first time for myself, but hopefully I can bring you some valuable content. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Hang got ply and chúc mừng năm mới.